Welcome to Mindblow, the ultimate destination for jaw-dropping content that will surprise, inspire, and entertain you every step of the way. If you love discovering the unexpected, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and share with your friends to keep the excitement going. Your support helps us keep blowing minds and creating content you'll never forget. So buckle up and get ready, because this is just the beginning. The turquoise waters of Ayungin Shoal became the stage for a modern David versus Goliath. A massive Chinese Coast Guard vessel, bristling with technology, faced off against a much smaller, weathered Philippine supply ship. The Filipino crew, tasked with resupplying Marines on the BRP Sierra Madre, pressed on despite the looming threat. The Chinese ship maneuvered aggressively, its horn blaring, trying to block the Philippine vessel. But the Filipino sailors, trained and resolute, skillfully navigated the shoals, refusing to be intimidated. This was more than a territorial dispute. It was a test of national resolve, broadcast for the world to witness. For years, China's gray zone tactics, harassing fishermen, blocking survey ships, had gone largely unchallenged. But now, the Philippines responded with active, transparent resistance, determined to defend its maritime rights. This assertiveness was the result of years of transformation, both in mindset and military capability. The sailors on that supply ship embodied a new generation of Filipino patriots driven by national pride and purpose. No longer passive, the Philippines was sending a clear message. It would stand up for its rights, no matter the odds. The standoff at Ayungin Shoal was not an isolated event, but a symbol of a nation's awakening. The world watched as the Philippines emerged as a more confident player in the Indo-Pacific. The drama at sea was a powerful reminder: sovereignty is defended not just by ships, but by the will of those who sail them. The West Philippine Sea had a new David, and he was ready for the fight. For decades, the Philippine Navy was a ghost fleet. Aging ships, relics of World War II and Vietnam. Vessels like the BRP Raja Humabon, once proud, had become floating museums, outmatched by modern threats. Years of underfunding left the Navy with obsolete weapons, unreliable sensors, and limited communication. The focus had been on internal security, not maritime defense, leaving the nation's vast coastline exposed. The technological gap was glaring: no modern missiles, outdated radar, and little ability to detect or deter advanced threats. Brave sailors kept these ships afloat, but courage alone could not secure the future. The Navy's limitations were a source of deep concern. Any conflict would see these ships quickly overwhelmed. The Philippines needed more than valor, it needed transformation. The legacy fleet was a stark reminder: without urgent modernization, the nation's sovereignty was at risk. Change was no longer optional, it was a matter of survival. The turning point came in April 2012 at Scarborough Shoal. When the BRP Gregorio del Pilar tried to apprehend Chinese poachers, Chinese ships intervened, sparking a tense standoff. Despite a US-brokered deal for mutual withdrawal, only the Philippines complied. China stayed, seizing control. The loss of Scarborough Shoal was a national humiliation and a strategic shock. It exposed the limits of relying on diplomatic protests and outdated ships. The incident galvanized public anger and forced leaders to confront the reality: modernization was now a necessity. The abstract threat of maritime encroachment became painfully real. The public rallied behind a stronger military, demanding action. Scarborough Shoal became the catalyst for the most significant transformation in the Philippine Navy's history. The nation realized that sovereignty required more than words. It demanded credible power. The painful lesson of 2012 set the stage for a new era of defense. The Philippines would never be caught unprepared again. Modernization was more than new ships. It was a revolution in mindset. A new generation of naval leaders trained abroad brought fresh vision and urgency. They argued the Navy must evolve from coastal patrols to active archipelagic defense, projecting power far beyond the shoreline. The new doctrine called for a credible deterrent, able to monitor, protect, and respond across the nation's vast maritime domain. This vision meant building not just ships, but a complete naval ecosystem. Command centers, intelligence, logistics, and maintenance. Training and professionalism became priorities. Technology is only as good as the people who use it. These leaders championed the cause, securing funding and forging partnerships with allies. Their advocacy turned the wake-up call of Scarborough Shoal into a concrete plan. They laid the intellectual and strategic foundation for a modern Navy. The transformation was underway, driven by leaders who understood the stakes. The Philippine Navy was ready to leave its ghost fleet behind. The arrival of the new steel fleet marked a turning point. The acquisition of two modern frigates from South Korea, BRP Jose Rizal and BRP Antonio Luna, was a quantum leap. These warships, equipped with advanced missiles, radar, and helicopters, gave the Navy real combat power for the first time. The modernization program expanded. New corvettes, offshore patrol vessels, and support ships followed. Modern sensors and weapons allowed the Navy to secure the West Philippine Sea more effectively. Investments in coastal radar, UAVs, and C4 ISTAR systems created a networked, coordinated force. Training shifted from basic gunnery to complex, multi-ship exercises simulating modern warfare. The transformation was not just material, it was cultural and operational. Sailors learned new tactics for anti-submarine, anti-air, and surface warfare. The Navy became a cohesive, modern fighting force. The new fleet was more than hardware, it was a symbol of national renewal. The Philippine Navy was ready for the challenges of a new era. The Philippines' transformation was powered by alliances. The U.S. alliance, through EDISIA and Balikatan exercises, brought joint training, intelligence sharing, and rapid crisis response. Filipino sailors learned advanced tactics alongside American counterparts, preparing them for modern naval operations. Japan and Australia provided patrol vessels, surveillance aircraft, and specialized training, boosting maritime security. South Korea became a key industrial partner, supplying ships and technology transfer. These partnerships created a network of like-minded nations, promoting regional stability. Alliances were more than hardware. They sent a diplomatic message. The Philippines was not alone. The support of major powers added a crucial layer of deterrence. Together, these alliances accelerated the Navy's modernization and strengthened its resolve. The Philippines emerged as a credible partner in regional security. The next frontier, the undersea domain. Submarines became the ultimate goal, stealthy platforms that could deter a larger adversary. Even a small fleet of modern diesel-electric subs would shift the balance, making aggression costly. The Navy began training officers abroad, building expertise for a future silent service. Fast attack craft, armed with missiles, were also acquired for swarm tactics in littoral waters. The strategy turned the archipelago's geography into a defensive advantage. Asymmetric assets complicated any enemy's plans, deterring aggression without matching ship for ship. The Philippines was building a porcupine defense, credible, resilient, and self-reliant. Submarines and fast attack craft became symbols of a nation determined to defend itself. The future Navy would be silent, agile, and ready. Building strength without provoking conflict is a delicate balance. The Philippines frames its modernization as purely defensive, aiming for credible deterrence, not escalation. Diplomacy remains central, open lines with China, active participation in ASEAN, and advocacy for peaceful, rules-based solutions. Assertive transparency is key, publicizing Chinese actions to win the narrative and rally international support. Information becomes a tool of statecraft, exposing gray zone tactics and pressuring the global community to uphold the law. The goal, a stable equilibrium where a stronger Philippines deters aggression and promotes regional security. When weaker states can defend themselves, stability follows. The Philippines walks a tightrope, but it's a necessary path for sovereignty and peace. Deterrence is not about seeking conflict, it's about making conflict unthinkable. The nation's resolve is clear: defend, deter, and pursue peace. The Philippine Navy's transformation is about more than ships. It's about national pride and unity. Modern warships flying the flag inspire confidence and signal a sovereign nation ready to defend its interests. Naval strength secures vital resources: fish, oil, and gas, ensuring economic security for future generations. A strong Navy is the guardian of prosperity and natural heritage. The Philippines is now a credible partner in ASEAN and the Indo-Pacific, contributing to regional security. The journey is ongoing, requiring continued investment and public support. The challenges are immense, but progress is undeniable. The nation has drawn a line in the sea, determined to protect its sovereignty. The call to action: remain vigilant, united, and committed to peace and stability. The Philippine Navy stands as a proud guardian of the seas. The archipelago's future is secure, because its people are ready to defend it,